Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to ask all of our students if they've ever had a friend or a sibling who is like their opposite. I see a lot of head nodding. When I was all of your ages, I had a best friend who was my opposite. I grew up partly in France, and I love to run a little bit wild, but I also enjoyed studying and learning and school. But I had a friend who grew up on a farm, and his parents were goat and cow farmers and made cheese, very typical for France. And he really liked to run wild. And he also spent a lot of time working on his parents' farm. He didn't like school very much, but he loved sports. So we were different, but we also came together and we loved creating fun and wacky stories that we would read out to the class, and everybody loved them. And so there are different ways to connect to people who are your opposite. So every week in synagogue, we read a different part of the Torah. And this week, we read about Jacob and Esau. Have any of you heard of Jacob and Esau? Yes. So as you know, Jacob and Esau were the sons of Isaac and Rebekah. They were twins. But even before they were born, they were already fighting. And they were struggling so much in their mother's belly that their mother prayed to God to ask, what is happening? And when they came out, one of them was holding on to the other. And that's just the beginning. Even though the Torah is obviously coming from a very different time, I think we can understand how different they were just from the way the Torah describes it. It says that Esau was a hairy man who loved to hunt and the outdoors, and Jacob was a smooth-haired man, a simple man who liked to dwell in tents. So they were different, but they were still brothers. But instead of getting along, what did they do? They always fought. They always fought. And Jacob was really smart, and he used his smarts to outwit Esau. And Esau was very strong, and he would threaten Jacob when they would get into fights. And it just felt like they would never get along. I think we've all felt that way, like we couldn't get along with a sibling or another person. But the Torah also gives us a story to teach us how one should not behave with someone who is our opposite. Because in the end, Jacob ends up taking away from his brother Esau something that was really precious to him. And Esau got so mad that Jacob had to run away, and they spent 21 years apart. And then maybe the lesson is the opposites shouldn't always have to fight, but the opposites can complement each other. Maybe that's why God put them in the same, in the belly of the same mother, so they could learn to live together and complement each other. Because if they work together, if Jacob used his smarts and if Esau used his strength, what could they not accomplish together? And it's the same with our friends. If we don't have a great sense of humor, but we have a friend who has a good sense of humor, it could really make us laugh. Or if someone is not as good as approaching new people, we have a friend or a sibling who does, it's really useful, it really is helpful. And besides, we can always find something in common with another person. And it took Jacob and Esau 21 years to realize this, when they only met again when they were older, and they embraced, and they finally realized we love each other, we're brothers. I want to add that in our Jewish communities over the past month, we've been having a very challenging time. Since Israel, the homeland of the Jewish people, got into a war with Hamas, a terrorist organization that attacked Israel on October 7th. And it's been very difficult for us. And we keep wondering, where is peace going to come from in our world? But the Torah teaches us that even when we feel very different, or there is a fight that's been going on for a long time, there is still always a chance of peace, always a chance to understand each other, always a chance to complement each other and to find that common road and to find peace. And we're taught the word peace in Hebrew, shalom, that is well known. A Hasidic teaching about it says, what is peace? It's bringing two opposites together, creating a new and better whole. So I end with a prayer that may our world know peace, May all of us work a little harder to get along and complement people who are a little bit different or even our opposites. Shabbat Shalom.